What is up, Retro Maniacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name's Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two guys that might look like BGS altered, but I think they're PSA 7s. They are, of course, Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How you doing, boys?
Doing
PSA 8.5 right here.
The rare 8.5.
The rare 8.5. The highest 0.5 you can get right here.
Okay.
I'll take a 7, pack fresh 7. I'm okay with that.
Pack fresh 7. You don't look pack fresh, my man.
You do not look back fresh. Did you see the story that somebody bought an 84 star Michael Jordan that was a BGS altered, and they sent it to PSA and they got a PSA 7? So
No.
That's where that intro came from. And
Okay.
that was pretty interesting. And actually, spoiler alert here, but kind of looks like BGS was the one that screwed up in this situation. So
so you say that because we have a lot of fun with BGS for sure. But when was this graded? Because they were the authority because of who they had grading these.
Graded, it was graded recently. It was within the last.
Okay, so that's reasonable. That's a reasonable.
It wasn't one of their older ones. When I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, they probably did screw it up. But still, they were at the time it was graded. They were the only one that was grading them. Still, it was before PSA started grading. So I don't know. Interesting.
Didn't we do a story on the pod where the guy who was like in charge of grading the BGS, the star rookies for BGS, he now is at PSA, and that's the reason they started grading the star rookies? Why? I remember that. I remember us talking about something like that. I could be wrong. It's rare, but it happens. So it's possible that's not the story. But I very, very much remember us discussing that. So if it was like an older BGS and it was that guy, and then PSA got it, it would be hilarious if it was the same guy grading the cards or like teaching people how to grade those star cards that got it wrong once, but then moved to another company and got it right this time. I don't know.
Almost makes you think like grading is smoke and mirrors.
Almost
wizardry.
Wizardry is.
Those graders are high paid experts. They're professionals that they get paid a lot of money to be really good at their jobs,
right?
And that's why that's why
they do get paid.
It costs so much.
It is a job, so I don't know if they get paid a lot, but they do get paid. But it's opinion, and at the end of the day, this is just another lesson that all these people are spending money based on somebody's opinion about something. And like if it's a $5 card or a $50 card or a $100 card, really doesn't make a big deal. But in a case like this, that card went from, I think he paid $13,000 for it, and then instantly it was like a $60,000 or $70,000 card. So
wow,
nuts. But how you doing, boys? What's going on?
I'm doing great. So yesterday was my birthday, everyone. I turned 44. Yesterday, Sunday, was my birthday. Turned 44.
Happy belated birthday, Joe.
Well, no. You don't. You guys wish me happy birthday on Sunday.
I did, but not on camera.
Oh, okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. So yes, I turned 44, and this last week has been pretty awesome when it comes to the Pitt Panthers. Came back from 21 down against Cincinnati last Saturday, and then this past Saturday came back with 4 minutes left to beat West Virginia, our hated rival. We were down 10 points with less than 4 minutes left. Came back and won it. This has been great. 3-0 for the first time in a long time for Pitt. Looking good. Eli Holstein for president, not for Heisman, for president. The country can get around someone like this Eli Holstein guy. So yes, I'm a very excited Pitt alum. Backyard Brawl is my second favorite rivalry. I like beating West Virginia. I love beating Penn State. I'm just going to throw that out there. I love beating Penn State. And like I said on Twitter, most people from West Virginia can't read, so they won't be offended by most of what I type. So,
Wow.
And people from Penn State can't count, so they won't be able to understand what the scores are anyway. So I'm just throwing those things out there to make fun of all of the rivals. Pitt's 3-0.
I feel like we just probably lost a third of our subs.
Definitely.
All those
If they were from West Virginia or from Penn State, do we really want them?
Wow.
Goodbye.
EP and I love every one of our viewers.
Darn right. Yep.
Don't let the words of Joe Day represent the podcast as a whole.
No. At West Virginia,
unless they're Red Sox fan, then
see, here we go. Red Sox fan
or Cowboys fan, yeah.
Or Cowboys fan, right. Okay, yeah, I'm the bad guy here. I'm the bad guy. But yes.
Just saying. Wow. And since you brought that up, I do want to make one little point here too. I saw Neo tweet about this, and I thought this might actually be I didn't see that. Maybe I thought he sent you a direct message. But anyway,
I haven't looked.
You talked about whatever that person's name was for president. If you're watching our video and you see political ads, just understand we have no control over what YouTube is putting into our videos. I just want to make that clear because Neo did tweet about it, and I was actually surprised by the number of people who didn't realize that like the content creators don't have control. We have no control over any ads that you see during our video. That's all done by YouTube. And if you're seeing political ads all the time, because you're seeing political ads all the time,
buckle up until
we have nothing to do with it. Yeah, unfortunately. Right. And most of the ones I'm seeing anymore, you can't even skip.
They're
unskippable. Yes.
Yeah, you can go to next sometimes, but then the next one's political too. So that doesn't matter. So
just we
apologize on behalf of YouTube.
And they're paying way more money than all the other advertisers right now. That's why there are so many of them. Like they're so just pouring money into it. Yeah.
One thing I did mention for my birthday as well is I made myself a little Moscow Mule for my birthday. EP, would you like to join me in a birthday celebratory drink?
I do. I have a beverage here.
There we go. Thank you. That's a friend right there. Let me drink alone. Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Thank you. Oh man, that ginger beer is good.
Should I link your address below so people can send you gifts? Or?
Panther 27. Just buy something.
Panther 27.
Panther 27. Just buy something.
Isn't your address Panther 27? I thought your address was Panther 27. Was it Panther 27?
If you just throw something in the mail and put Panther 27 on it,
it'll get here. It's like Santa Claus. Just put in Santa Claus and just put it in the mail. You'll be fine.
What's new and exciting with you, EP?
I mean, work's been rough, so I haven't really done much of anything in the card world. One thing that I have been doing that again is one of my fatal issues in this hobby is I'm bidding on stuff that I shouldn't be bidding on. I haven't won anything, but I'm doing that thing again. Like a 1,600 card lot of like football insert cards. I mean,
could go wrong.
Somebody at the last card show went through my entire box of cards and took out all my good football cards, so I need to restock some of my boxes.
You need to come to Mike's card shop and refill your boxes.
That's true.
I'm not even joking. I have so many cards. I've been trying. I'm going to be having a big football stack sale in October, and I found the cards from that. I talked about that big collection I got from the local card shop. The 30, 40, 50 boxes that I got. I'd gone through that. I just looked at the leftover cards that I had for my last football sale, not leftovers that I offered and weren't claimed. The box of stuff that didn't even make it into that sale. It's over to my left here. It's a 5,000 count box, and there are probably almost 3 full rows of cards that I didn't even put in the last sale.
Just here's what you do, Mike. All right, let me give you some advice. This is what you do. You box them up. You give them to EP, not give, but hand them to EP and say, EP, these are some really good cards. Put them on your table to attract people. And then you just keep all the money that, have EP do all the work is what I'm saying. Have him sell those cards at the show. He doesn't use his whole table anyway. I mean, I used like a third of it. So and he just said, he said, don't worry. I hardly ever have anything on these tables. So maybe what you should do is put one of your 2 of your 3 of your boxes, and EP will keep track of that and sell them for you. I think that's I think it makes sense for everyone involved.
Good idea. Thank you, EP. That's really generous of you. I might take you up on that.
And he does. You beg him to take table fees. I begged him. I said, EP, let me buy you something from Annie Ann's. Let me have Rob buy you something from Annie Ann's. And he said, no, these are free. I'm so glad that your cards have touched my table that I don't need to charge you anything. So Mike,
you don't hear that every day.
Right. Great guy down there. Again, makes sense for everyone involved. EP, next card show, take those, sell them for Mike.
All right, I'm in.
Please and thank you. There you go.
Thanks, EP. Will you come to my house and get them too, so I don't have to like actually?
Oh, that one goes without.
Yeah, are they in soft sleeves? Are they all in soft sleeves?
I mean, define all.
EP will sleeve them all.
I'll sleeve them all up. It's fine. Yep, I can do that.
Okay, we're good. Okay, it's a deal. Thank you. Oh, did you have anything else you would say? I do want to have a little bit of a channel update here because this past Saturday was a national tragedy on the channel. We did not upload an episode of Extra Innings with EP, and unfortunately, that show is going to be going on kind of a hiatus for a little bit. But I will let EP explain to our viewers the situation, so they'll know in every minute detail about this situation. What's going on, man? Detail.
I did record one. I just didn't have time to upload it. Work got insane on Friday night. I had a guy who was sick, and he had been sick, was trying to work. His computer crashed, so I had to do his early work. He had worked for 2 hours, so I had to do his early work. Then I had to do his normal work. Then I had to check all of the other news pages on top of the Friday Night Football stuff, which normally I start at like 7. So it was the most insane, one of the most insane shifts I've ever worked. So I didn't have time to upload it. There is one uploaded. There will be one this coming week. I'm going to upload it on Sunday. So make sure that I have uploaded it on Sunday. That way,
there you go.
That way, that way it's in there and ready to go. But with like fantasy football takes up like all of my free time on Tuesday before work, and then Thursday before work, and then Wednesday I have to go in early, at least an hour early every Wednesday to work as well. So just that like the timing, it's going to add extra stress that I don't need this time of year. So it's kind of I don't want to say that it's going to be 100% never going to happen, but I don't know if it's going to be regular every Saturday through football season, through the end of football season, until my fantasy football teams start to tank. Then I'll probably have time.
We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks, is what I'm hearing. I unsubscribed until then, so I let me know.
Please don't unsubscribe. It is coming back. It is coming back. If that's your show, it is coming back. Don't anybody unsubscribe. It is coming back. It will come back.
I knew you were not in a good mood, so when you told me, my answer was just okay. Just left it that. I'm like, I'm not touching this. Okay.
And then on top of like everything else, there was like so many compounding things on Friday. It was the most insane. I opened up a Rockstar, I believe at like 4 p.m. Did not take a swig out of it until like 1 a.m. Like I took a swig out of it when I first opened it up, but I didn't like there was no drinking of it. I just forgot about it.
You need one of those hats. Like
with
the
beer with the things. Yeah, definitely.
And then what you do is you put a beer in one and a Rockstar in another. Or vodka, like a little bottle of vodka. Do you think anyone would notice?
Probably
or
not.
would anyone care as long as the paper got put out?
Hey, my work might improve. Who knows?
There it is.
No?
I will say, EP, I don't envy how much you work. So I just have 3 words for you. Quit your job. I mean, boom. It's handled at that point, right?
Cards full time.
Cards full time. Yeah. Hyphenated full time. Yeah. There it is. Do it.
Nope.
Do it now. Boom. Another 3 words.
Do it now. Yeah.
Do it now. It's funny when so this week I had overtime Monday, I had overtime Tuesday, and I had overtime Thursday, and then I worked on Saturday, the day before my birthday. We have our annual open house, it's called, and it always is on that Saturday in September. What is that? The second Saturday of September. It's been on my birthday numerous times. It's one of those voluntold things.
Right.
So you volunteer, but it doesn't look good if you don't volunteer for this as a management employee, right? So I've been voluntold, and I go every single year. And like I said, a couple of years it's fallen on my birthday. So my birthday always kind of sucks. The one time I went out for my birthday, it was on the 15th.
Friday before.
It was the Friday before, and I was so wrecked for that event the next day. Like I just felt so terrible. I chugged about 6 cups of coffee just to get me going. So I never do that again. So my birthday, like this is the first drink I've had for my birthday week. But every time I say, "Oh, I had overtime this day, I had overtime that day," EP comes at me with, "Yeah, I worked 36 straight hours." like you just can't even compete with it. Like, what am I supposed to say to that?
Don't
my
even
schedule,
try.
My schedule is 2 hours overtime every day, no matter what, and then it's at least 1 extra hour on Wednesdays. So yeah, and during football season, Fridays are 12-hour to 14-hour days. it's rough.
But you get paid for it now, so
I do get paid for it now, which is not bad. Which is not bad. It's pretty nice.
So guess what?
What?
I actually won a YouTube giveaway.
Congrats, dude.
I don't have any luck. I don't win giveaways.
Great.
And I won a Joe Montana autograph.
Very cool.
Yeah, how about that? Our buddy Helmets and Hash Marks, not hashtags, Joe.
Not hashtags.
He had his 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and I won. I'm like, dude, you have to be kidding. Like, there's no way. So, yes. So, shout out to Helmets and Hash Marks right there. Look at that. And go check out his channel. He does a lot of really cool. He does a lot of rips of football cards and I mean, obviously with the name, it's a football-based channel, but we love football cards. So good stuff there. He has really good production. I like his setup too. But not only did I get that, he sent me his 1-of-1 autograph and sent 2 others that I'm supposed to share with you guys.
Awesome. Very cool.
Really kind of ticked me off a little bit. I was like, do I really?
You wanted to sell them, didn't you?
Yeah.
You wanted to sell them,
didn't you? Of course I do. But yes, he does the 1-of-1 cards. They're all signed in different colors. Look at that. Like, it's a nice autograph.
That is a nice autograph. I like that blue one. Dibs on the blue one. Take
the blue one. Okay, I'll give you the blue one.
I mean, it is my birthday week.
I'm not picky. I'm not picky. Whatever one you don't want.
I like the auto on this one, so I'm going to keep that one. So I'll give you the one that's a little harder to see there.
The silver.
Very cool. Silver.
Yeah. Nice.
So
cool. Very cool.
Shout out again. I will link the channel in the description, and make sure you go over. And if you're not subscribed to him, subscribe. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Helmets, hash marks, hashtag great guy. See what I did there?
I do. Yes.
I brought it full circle, baby.
Who would have thought that the use of hashtags would make it really hard to say a word like hash marks? Like,
I know. It really just permeates your brain.
Yeah. If you start with hash, you go and order breakfast, you try to order hash browns, you're ordering
hashtags.
Hash browns, please. Thank you.
I feel like Joe's gonna say his name like that every time now, just so he remembers not to use hashtags.
That would be great. Yeah.
Helmets, hash marks, hashtag great guy.
All right, guys. Well, let's get into it. In probably the worst kept secret in a long time, Topps has announced a global deal to distribute Marvel cards. But not only Marvel, also Disney and Pixar, and they extended their deal with Star Wars. And starting in 2025, they're going to be putting out Marvel, Disney, and Pixar in the US and everywhere else in the world, apparently, because I think that's what globally means, Mike. And first set they're going to be putting out of Marvel is the finest X-Men 97 set, which should be released sometime early in 2025. We've given our thoughts on this before, so I mean, nothing shocking here, but just I'm saying, please don't screw this up. Just don't screw it up.
They will.
They probably will. I mean, the finest X-Men 97 release is encouraging because that sounds like it could be a good set, but obviously they're probably going to be using art from the show, right? They're probably not going to have original art.
That's been my whole issue with this acquisition. And I forget if I said it actually on the show. I think I actually didn't say it. And I commented below that I said something to the effect of my biggest fear is it's just going to be movie and TV stuff. And coming out of the gate, your first set is a TV set. I mean, I really wish there was a world where companies work together and, Fanatics could go to Upper Deck and say, hey, you guys don't do much with the movie properties. And when you do, it's not great. We could do a lot with the movie properties and make a boatload of money. Why don't you guys keep the comic book stuff? Could you imagine what a great world we would live in if people came together like that and was like, no, instead, this is what it is. I want to suck up as much money as possible. So
I want it all.
I want it all. And again, I'm going to lay it out here. My concern is for all the Marvel fans who maybe they aren't huge fans of Upper Deck, realize that there's probably a better than even chance that what you're going to get is mostly TV and movie stuff. And if you're strictly an MCU fan, you're probably loving that because they will put out more sets, I'm sure, with actor autographs and things like that. But those hardcore, those Spidey hits, Marvel Madness, who's a friend of the channel, I mean, those folks who like the original art stuff like Fleer Ultra or like pulling out of the comic books like they do for the metal sets or Marvel Masterpieces where it's just one artist doing phenomenal work across the entire set. You're probably not going to see things like that out of Tops, and it's kind of depressing.
I've said before that the MCU is kind of like most of my basis of knowledge in comics. I did play some video games and I've read a few comics back in the day, but not a ton of stuff. And so the MCU is kind of like my introduction into it. But when it comes to cards, I don't like the live action stuff. That said, if they produce a couple bangers, like really awesome stuff with some cool art or whatever, with or like not necessarily art, but the design with live action stuff, I'd be okay with that. Like give me something that is new and interesting. I'm okay with that. But I'm in that group with those other guys you talked about, Joe, where I want to see more of the art stuff. I want to see either new art or give me art, like show me the images of the older stuff, like the stuff that, I don't want to see the I believe Upper Deck does the Marvel Annual, which goes through like a lot of the art from this year's art, which I'm like, it doesn't really excite me as much as the other stuff. So I'm very excited about that, but I'm also excited. I don't think the word exclusive was used at all in that announcement, right? So do you think there's a possibility? Do you think there's a possibility that no, okay.
And there wasn't any word exclusive there, but at the same time, Upper Deck made an announcement and they said that they will continue to release high-end products, and they mentioned Warner Brothers. They didn't mention Marvel at all. Yeah. So I don't think that Fanatics would go after anything and not be exclusive. So no. That's just kind of the way they roll. Did you guys get a look at the UK Topps Chrome Marble? Like
I saw the price and saw the box.
I'm not sure like what are the cards? Are they, or what are the artwork that they use on those? Are they original or are they from something?
We'll say it's probably from something. Like
I think it's from something, but again, I'm not 100% sure. They do have the fake autographs like they did for the Disney. Remember that? A few ways.
Don't do that.
Stupid. Don't do that. But I mean, they didn't look bad. Like, here's the thing: they don't look bad. Those cards didn't, and I'm sure the base stuff will look fine. It just, again, it depends on what they actually put out, and it depends if they put out like cool inserts. Like Marvel collectors aren't for like the autographs, for example, of artists. They go for whatever. Like I sold a Professor X, the artist who did the Professor X card, card 55, I think it was, in Fleer Ultra Wolverine. It was an autograph card of his. It went for like $30. Like the autographs aren't a big part of it. It's about the sketch cards and but some of the cool inserts. And I don't know and I didn't collect Star Wars or open any of the top Star Wars stuff. I don't know if they have cool inserts. It seemingly the Star Wars folks aren't a huge fan of the Star Wars cards that Fanatics produces. Yeah. And I don't know about, like, again, Fleer Ultra, what's one enduring things that's going to come out of Fleer Ultra? It's going to be the jambalayas. It's going to be the medallions. It's going to be the PMGs, these inserts. Topps has to do that. And we have a whole show. If they want to watch it and steal our ideas, just give us some credit. But we had some good ideas. If 3 schlubs like us can look back at your IP and come up some 9 really good, over 9, because we had some little honorable mentions. If we can come up with stuff like that, you would think people in a boardroom could, but I'm really fearful that they won't. I hope I'm proven wrong. Like I've said before, it's rare, but it happens. I hope I'm proven wrong on this, but I don't know. The Fanatics track record is keeping me looking good every time I throw them under the bus for years and years now at this point. I appreciate that, but yeah, I'm just not a big fan.
I like that we're several months out from it, hopefully, and that hopefully that they put some time and effort into it. I really hope they do. I wish I would see more. I wish I would have seen more of the Topps Chrome from UK to see what kind of inserts and stuff they had to be able to speak more intelligently on that point. But like I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed and hope that they use this time between now and then, watch our video a couple times and use some of our stuff.
The one thing too I want to make a point about Upper Deck is that we talked about this with the Fanatics screw ups. They always seem to be reactionary. I feel like they're kind of being reactionary with the MCU, and I'm glad they are, right? I'm glad they're being reactionary, or Marvel just in general. And they're not. It's almost feel like someone who's not creating something but taking credit for something that someone else created. Like Upper Deck is coming out with DC stuff. They're being proactive, assuming that DC is ascending because of James Gunn and everything coming out. Fanatics is like, oh, let's just take this thing that we think everyone wants and dump money into it and just take it. And they're ironically, the MCU kind of on a downswing. I mean, the stunt casting of Robert Downey Jr. aside, I mean, there haven't been many good movies since Endgame. Like the two best properties they've had since then, maybe even the three. Spider-Man is a Sony IP. Mm-hmm. You've got Deadpool Wolverine. That's originally a Fox IP. Marvel had nothing to do with that. And then X-Men 97, again, another Fox IP. Like the MCU has kind of been shit, to be honest, since Endgame. So like it really makes you think that like maybe Fanatics isn't as good at looking at the future. They're just buying up what's hot now and they think will be hot instead of like doing what Upper Deck maybe kind of had to do, forced into a corner to do, and bought DC, or bought the rights to DC. But I think DC's on the upswing.
I think one property you missed was Guardians 3, which is James Gunn.
James Gunn. So right? That's a really good point too. Yeah.
Yeah. My fear is like they'll just do like the Chrome and all the variants of the Chrome, like Black they do, Chrome, like Chrome. Yeah, take like the most basic of the baseball sets and throw. I feel I could be wrong because I don't follow Star Wars, but I feel like that's what they do with Star Wars. They just do. Oh well, we do these like core baseball sets, so we'll just do it with the Star Wars license too. And I feel like that's my fear. They're just gonna Chrome will sell, this will sell, that'll sell, but I really don't know that I have any faith that they'll try to do anything new or unique or exciting with these other than things at price points that we're not going to be interested in, because right. There's going to be like high-end stuff come out from it. I would imagine that are made for breakers. Yep. And I mean, breakers are going to make a lot of money if they can convert comic card collectors over, because it's kind of like wrestling. You have this whole list of wrestlers that you can sell spots from instead of just a team. Imagine like doing NFL breaks by player. I know there are some that do stuff like that, but it's not the norm. You're usually buying a team and it's a smaller break. Like the wrestling breaks take forever to fill usually, because a lot of wrestlers out there you got to sell. Yeah. And the comic characters I think will probably be the same, but yeah, I just worry it's going to be Chrome derivative sets. And I'm sure EP that the release they have out just has refractors and different numbered stuff in it. There's no true insert chase out of it. And
I'm wondering if they're going to get sketch cards, for example. Like, are they going to have like? I know so. Star Wars has sketch cards, but you're telling me that this set's going to come out in a few months. Is that enough time for an artist to really put their heart and soul into a sketch card? If they're, I don't know when they knew they were going to get this IP. And
I wonder if the Upper Deck getting Warner Brothers might have been like there might have been talks going on then And that happened a few months ago, right? That was several months ago at this point, I believe, right? So I wonder if maybe this has been in the works, where they've been trying to get the deal with all the different properties like Disney and Marvel and all that sort of stuff. So it's probably been it might be in the works for a while.
I think it's been a done deal for a while. They just probably had to wait to a certain point of time to announce it because Upper Deck was releasing new product. So the fact that Upper Deck came out and announced the DC thing when they did, that was clearly reactionary to the fact that they knew they were losing Marvel. So, So it's probably been long enough that they lost Marvel. They knew it a long time ago, gave them time to go out, negotiate, get DC, announce DC. And now that Marvel's, Upper Deck's pretty much winding down with the Marvel releases, that's probably why it was out now.
And I spoke to one of the sketch artists from Fleer Ultra Wolverine, and they are already working on sketches for DC stuff for Upper Deck, which is really, really cool. So, I mean, unofficially, he couldn't tell me officially if he is, but it was a little way. That's why I'm not saying who it was, but it was a wink and a nod that, yes, I am working on sketches right now. To your point about breaks, Mike. So there are, to be fair, there are already Marvel breaks where it's character driven, like you had mentioned, but I mean, it's, you have to find them. You have to dig for them a little bit harder. Like North of 7, I think it's a Canadian breaker. He does a lot of them. There's Spidey Hits has started to get into a case break here, and it's character based, but it will pale in comparison to what is going on with Fanatics, because they're going to give people an incentive, like either Fanatics credit or whatever, to get from sports to now non-sports stuff. So the gambling aspect of it from a sports breaker, from someone buying into sports breaks, Fanatics is going to push that onto them for these, being like, oh, you could pull a 1-on-1 platinum, whatever, and it's worth $10,000. It could be potentially worth $10,000. So they're really going to push that onto the sports folks, I think. And another point about the oh yes, I found it. I almost had an EP
moment.
It was. Another point about the cost is, a lot of people came onto our videos when I ripped some Marvel products, and they're like, oh my God, this is so expensive. And it was like $230. Dude, buckle in. If you think $230 for a really nice product like Fleer Ultra Wolverine is a lot, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I pulled up this quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, The American President. Great Aaron Sorkin movie if you've never watched it. But this, to me, is the encapsulation of how Marvel fans are going to be, because they're going to buy this stuff. We talk about this all the time. Sports people are going to buy football products, even though it's crap. They've done it with Panini. They're going to do it with Fanatics. The president says to one of his advisors, people don't drink the sand because they're thirsty. They drink the sand because they don't know the difference. People are going to be drinking the sand here. They're going to be going out and buying shit products and opening it up with a smile on their face because it's the only thing they have. Because they're a monopoly. Maybe not legally, but in spirit, Fanatics is a monopoly. Period. Full stop.
Yeah, I know that. Like I said earlier, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. I'm going to stay hopeful. And the announcement that they were hiring somebody to be creative with their non-sports properties was a very encouraging thing as well. But also the discouraging part is the price of that Marvel Topps UK product, which is like $700 aftermarket. And to think about like that is exactly what they want from a business perspective. And so, I mean, like again, we talked about this a bazillion times before too. They're a business, they're trying to make money, and how can they make the most money? It is to crank out hundreds of Chrome products, Sonic and Galaxy and Black and all these different things, because they can charge the amount of money and people are going to buy them. And that's so there. While I'm hopeful, like I really to Mike's point about the breakers, like that's the whole point, is to sell that stuff for the break, to make that stuff for the breakers to break. And yeah, it's as much as I want to stay hopeful, I'm not.
DP, don't forget too that it's easy for them to do all the variations of Topps Chrome. They have the set, they just have to go in and change the background in what they already make. Like, it's simple and it's quick for them. And I would not be surprised at all when they do a Topps Chrome Marble, seeing what happened with the UK stuff. If that stuff is at least $300 a box from Topps, and you won't be able to buy it for that. It's just going to be, they're going to push it. And all the people who don't collect Marvel cards, because I saw this with Prism with WWE last year, an early release of something when Topps Chrome Marvel comes out, like that, the UK was what, $700 a box, right? Like, this will jump up to that in no time. You're not going to even, it's going to be ridiculously priced to begin with. And you're not even going to be able to buy it even at that price.
One of the things, going back to episode 1, one of the things that Michael Rubin said is he wanted to get rid of the middleman a lot, right? And at that point, he was trying to say, "Oh, this is going to be great for the collectors." No, it's not. It's going to be the same for collectors because they're going to get rid of the middleman and just charge more out of the gate. I mean, that's what's going to happen. Like,
yeah, but Panini charges $1,000 for basketball and football. So this $800 box of Marvel is a bargain.
Kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And there will be people in the hobby going, yeah,
that's true. That's true. I could get a Spider-Man first Bowman, right? But like, we talked about that $700, and Mike, you made the point that was, the secondary market. I guarantee you, Fanatics looked at that and was like, whoa. Someone else is making $400 a box on what we sold. No, my friend. We want that $400 or whatever the delta was between their price and the secondary market price. So, Mike, I think you're late with $300. I really do. If they came out with a Topps Chrome, like just a Topps Chrome 1999, 2025 Topps Chrome Marvel, it's going to be well above that $300 price tag per box.
I'm not going to be surprised if it was 300 or 350. I feel like they're going to make so many of the different kinds of Chrome that they're like, oh, we need to keep this a little bit lower price so we can sell all the different Chrome products. You know what I mean?
Nah, because what are people going to do? What are people going to do?
They're going to buy and resell it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to bitch about it and keep buying it and ripping it. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, that's going to be a resale product.
They're going to drink the sand, EP.
Just
wait. Know the difference.
Just wait till they start doing that. The episodes we're going to have is going to be fun.
We've talked a lot about the Marvel, but like, it is actually cool that Disney cards now actually have a license, somebody to make them. Unfortunately, it's the same company that's making everything, but we have talked before about how underrepresented like Disney stuff has been for a long time in the hobby. So that stuff again is going to be like Marvel. It's going to be crazy too. So, they're going to charge a lot of money. So any of our optimism now will probably quickly be deflated by them. But I am kind of happy that they're going to be Disney cards.
Yeah. I agree with that. And they're not stealing it from someone, right? They're not, I don't think Upper Deck ever made it. Like, exactly. Like, holy crap, this is the first thing that they've gone after on their own. They're all grown up now, right? But yeah, I think it's nice that they're going to do Disney cards, and it's not like the Loricana or whatever. Like, it's actual collectible trading cards, so that'll be nice.
Does that also include Disney's other like products, like all their movies and that sort of stuff? Like, isn't National Treasure the National Treasure series? Like, isn't that part of that? The Nicolas Cage films?
I don't know if it
I know it's on Disney Plus. So
yeah, I think it's just the Disney IP
specific. So, okay.
Yeah, probably. There are no financial terms from this deal, but I hope those come out. Well, they'll have to come out at some point because Disney is not a privately held company, but it has to be a huge amount of money, right? You're getting
outrageous.
Marvel, you're getting Disney.
Are we talking $1 billion? What are we talking
Star
about?
Wars, probably many billions of dollars, I would think, considering what they paid for the sports leagues. Like, I don't know. I am interested for the numbers to come out. Speaking of numbers, Nat Turner this week tweeted out that according to Card Ladder, August of 2024 was the second highest month on record for total card sales across all platforms. apparently there were $236 million worth of cards sold in August 2024. The highest was in February 2022 when there was 251 million. That made my jaw drop. I will willingly admit that I was shocked by these numbers, but boy, the hobby is really dying, isn't it?
And that doesn't even take into account card show sales, right?
Yeah, no.
Like,
no, that's just
like, and a lot of money exchanges hands at some of the bigger shows like Dallas, obviously the National, and Burbank and places like that. So I wouldn't be surprised that number might even be a bit light. Private sales aren't accounted for in Card Ladder unless they
I think
reach
it's
Card Ladder.
I think it's only graded cards too, isn't it? Isn't Card Ladder only graded cards?
I think it's everything. I thought it was everything.
They have everything, yeah.
Okay.
Their index is everything. But yeah, I mean, regardless of what you want to think, the hobby is still strong. There are a lot of people that like to buy cards. We even at the local card shows, we see a lot of people walking around typically. And around here they have them all the time. And there have been a lot of local shows and still they're pretty well attended. So I think it's great that the hobby's still doing really well, and all the doom and gloom you hear out there, just don't listen to it because the numbers don't really back it up. And what I feel kind of encouraged by is the hobby's different now. It's not like the huge bubble that was caused by COVID. It's not everything's just ridiculous in what it's priced at. It has settled back down now, but now it's still doing strong. And I think that's a great indicator for the hobby that things are going well, because I've seen this hobby, the bubble get up here and then it just bursts and nobody's around. And we've kind of survived from the unrealistic expectations of COVID and the bubble being all the way at its max, and it's kind of deflated back down to a normal sized bubble, and people are still here and they're still buying cards and still enjoying the hobby. And that's great because I have cards everywhere around me. What am I going to do with them if nobody wants them?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that the settled down was the really good term, but it settled down at this level. It settled down from this wild, like you said, this wildly overpriced universe that we were in. That settled down into this slightly above where, well, probably more than slightly above where it was. If you think about that amount of money, considering that 20 that was compared to the 2022, I think was a month of 2022 was the previous high one. That was just coming off of the bubble. We're just coming out of the bubble, and so now here we are. And I think it's awesome. I'm very excited for the hobby that's going on. I think it's an indicator that there are a lot more people buying singles as opposed to buying packs and boxes and stuff like that too. And I feel like that's a shift that. I grew up. We used to love opening boxes and opening packs at my shop, but I'm looking more into singles, buying singles as opposed to packs and boxes myself. So,
it kind of reminds me of like when a big movie comes out and it breaks every record, right? And it's like, okay, sure, it broke every financial record, but tickets are more expensive. And I'm more interested in the actual number of tickets sold. Like how many people actually went to the movie. And that's kind of what this reminds me of. I bet you that dollar amount is more representative of what we prefer in the hobby, where people are going out and buying $50 cards, not $50,000 cards, because the number of cards to get to that level has to be astronomical, because card prices are going down. Let's not, glaze over that. Like, card numbers, the prices on especially high dollar cards have come down significantly since the boom, which that number leads me to believe that just more cards are being sold than were sold, during that time period. So that's actually encouraging. People going and buying $50 cards versus, again, like I said, $50,000 cards is probably a benefit for the strength of the hobby. Fanatics Fest and that little card show they had in there is not representative of that what was that, 230 some million dollars in that month. I think it's a lot more of those 100, 150 to 5, that sweet spot of, $100 to $500 cards.
And things are like more accurately valued now. Like you could probably buy that card that during the boom, shot up to $1,000. You can get it for $200 or $300 now, because that's what it should have been. There's not any don't want to say not any. There isn't as much artificial inflation of prices,
right.
And for the most part, like CJ Stroud cards are still really valuable. They should be. He was clearly the top rookie, and he had a fantastic season at quarterback as a rookie. His card should. So I feel like it's more, instead of just, everything is just now worth 5 times what it was worth like 2 months ago. It makes sense. Oh, that guy's playing really well. He's putting a great year together. There's still some of the, he had a good game, or he had a bad game, but we're always going to have that, because you have people in this hobby that speculate and want to be able to try to buy something and flip it. That's part of the fun for some people in the hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think everything's just at a much more reasonable, realistic level right now. And that's why I'm happy to see these numbers.
Yeah, I really hope that, hope is not the right word. There should be like a cyclical thing where the prices come down and then box prices come down, and then people can
prices don't come down.
Right. But that's the problem. The problem is the prices aren't coming down because the breakers are still going to be doing the breaking, and that's like this. And until that, I mean, I listen. There are a lot of people that make their living breaking cards, and I would never wish anything bad upon them at all. But until
it feels like you are just that. No. Very ominous, isn't it?
Well, no,
I hope nothing happens to you on the way home, breaker.
I wish no, I wish box prices would come down, but I mean that these people make their money off of it. So for them, I would, I wouldn't want all those the low end. I don't want everything to be low end, but still, I feel like the card companies cater to the breakers so much with their prices and their the product, the checklists and all that sort of stuff. So, and that's not going to change. I don't think as much as the prices going down should also bring the box prices down. I don't think it's going to.
Well, and that's two things real quick. And I wanted to mention this during the Marvel part. Like, you don't see guys like Leighton breaking non-sports, with the exception of wrestling. They're going to get into Marvel. By the way, I guarantee you, like places like
all
Leighton
the big breakers
will be breaking.
You have
Marvel
to buy it from
Disney
Topps,
stuff.
and Topps is going to say, "Hey, you need to buy this, and you need to
buy X amount of."
Here's some credit toward the non-sports stuff too, right?
Yeah.
No, they won't give you credit. They'll say you have to buy this, or else you won't get that other stuff. That's how it works.
Yeah, you're going to have to figure out how to market this to your breaking buyers, or you're going to get less football and basketball and stuff like that from us. It's like the mob. Anyway,
it is. They do a lot of strong arming to force product on people.
Yeah. Absolutely, they're not giving away puppies. But EP, to your point though, it's not just breakers that keep prices like this so high. It's people just gambling. I mean, people buy boxes to get that 101. Yeah, sure, breaking is a huge part of it, but there are people that buy boxes. They're not buying boxes to get, to break even though that's even would be a feat in this modern time. They're buying boxes to get that 101 or that 5 of 5 that they can flip and triple what they paid for the box, quadruple what they paid for the box. This though conversation is really good about like prices and comps. Maybe Wednesday we should talk about comps a little bit more. I think that would be a really good idea.
Good idea. Let's do it.
Let's talk about comps on Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's written down here.
Yeah, write that down. Let's talk about comps and how we determine comps and talk about comps. Let's talk about that on Wednesday. Swing by, everyone.
Okay. I have it written down Wednesday morning when we record. We'll talk about comps.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's move on a little bit. Yeah, we've talked a couple times about CT scanners. Apparently people use these to try to find out what's in boxes. Who knew? But the big story is, I guess ESPN is working on a story about CT scanning in the hobby. I hope I give proper credit to this. I think this was mentioned on the Sports Card Nonsense podcast.
That's where I heard it.
And it was what is the other one? Sports Card Madness and Boston Card Hunter were the ones that did the video about it. So I guess credit goes to all of them. But yeah, ESPN's apparently working on it. And apparently there's some of the biggest breakers are using them, and some of the auction houses are using them. The auction houses are using them to verify what's supposed to be in a product is supposed to be in, although a whole other tangents going out in other directions all over there. But yeah, this is about to get mainstream, not the publicity the hobby really should want. Publicity.
But maybe it deserves it though, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. It deserves it for sure. You talked about the auction houses, Mike. We talked about this when the CT scanning. Again, shout out to Ziggy, who threw this idea at us, and we all kind of like laughed at it a little bit. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Actually, Golden Auction showed them doing this to verify the authenticity of a product. Using it like that, I'm all 100% for.
Yep.
But you knew as soon as it was used for that, people would be like, oh shit, what else can we CT scan?
Okay, here's my question though. Let me throw this to you. If you're using it to verify something, how do we know, like say Pokemon, say it's a first edition Pokemon box. If there's you can see a Charizard or something in there on one of the packs. How do you know that box then doesn't get switched out for a different box?
Oh,
that's my fear for the verification part of it. Is when they see something good, they'll push that aside and replace it with another.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the next level of where it goes bad. In the example on the Golden Touch, they were just verifying that there was a first generation iPhone in there. That's I'm okay with. Like verifying things, but as soon as you realize that technology is available to you and you start thinking of the other things that you can CT scan, that's when shit goes off the rails. And that's generally what happens in this hobby, right? It's like,
no,
we can wipe something off of a card and get a better grade. And then the next person in line is like, well, what if we, instead of wipe something, soak the card for a half hour instead? And then the next person like, let's soak it for 9 hours, not tell anyone, and send it to PSA to get a 10, then sell that card. Like that's the natural progression of the hobby every single time. So this thing to verify that someone's not getting screwed out of a fake original OG iPhone, good. Trying to find a 1 of 1 out of a case of Flawless, bad. Why do we always have to go there? Why do we start here and always end up over here every single time?
I can't speak for like 100%, but Mike, you can probably say this stuff has been going on from the beginning of, as far as back as you can remember, right? Like when you were running the shop,
probably a lot longer than any of us ever realized. Now, if you're trying to implicate me in having a CT scanner EP, which is what it sounds like to me.
No. I was just saying you opened a card shop back in the 1990s.
Have you seen the boxes of Prism he opened EP? He does not have a CT scanner.
Yeah, I do not have one. Watch any of my rips on the channel.
I didn't mean that you had a CT scanner back in the 1990s. I meant that the hobby being shits. But anyhow, the CT scanning thing, like the interview I listened to, the Sports Card Nonsense one, the guy even said like they can like see vintage cards now. It's not just cards whether 101s or cards with like an indentation for like autos. Like they can actually see vintage cards, so you can get your 1952 Topps box scanned and know how many mantles are in that box. Like that's kind of where they are with that, which is it's wild. It's wild. It's wild that this technology is available and can do this for the medical purposes that it was originally created for, and for the purpose it was created for. But of course, this hobby is doing its thing. This is really upsetting for somebody who likes to open boxes and knowing that there's probably a lot of boxes out there that are probably like Joe said, kind of like being, or whichever we said, kind of being pushed aside when they find
you're not buying the boxes that people are CT scanning EP. I'm just gonna throw that out
they're only charging $75 a pack. Like think about what, like I mean at this point I think it's what it is, like $75 a pack. You can get a pack scan for $75, and like so it's not super expensive. You could see people.
Where's that Chase the Reggie box that you can have scanned? Is that
the other? The other thing is they I completely lost my train of thought for a second time. They.
Go ahead, Joe.
I can't remember what it is. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
While you're thinking about it, what I was you kind of alluded to this EP. You mentioned about the medical side of it. I kind of in my head I'm kind of joking around thinking, when people started using like Wachovia and those different things just as weight loss, and people were like, but the people that have diabetes are going to run out of actual diabetes medication. I'm wondering who's buying all these CT scanners. And if a hospital is going to be like, oh, we can't scan for your brain cancer because someone's scanning flawless from 2018. Like it's just wild to me that people. I mean, that's an exaggeration for effect, obviously, but it's kind of wild to think about it.
Well, that was the point that I forgot. That thank you for that, Joe. You have to be a register, like you have to register to own one of them to use because of it causes radiation. Like I think there's like 10 times more than X-ray. Some X number more of an X-ray to run a CT scanner. So you have to be registered and do all this sort of stuff. But these hospitals, they don't just take them out back and throw them in the trash yard in the back. When they lose their effectiveness or when there's a new model out, they hold auctions and they sell these things, but you have to be a registered person. So the person on the interview I listened to said, like, you could probably go and see who's registered in your area and find out if any car dealers or car shops have purchased them. And they said he didn't want to name names, but this guy said that there were like 3 or 4 big sellers there that he believed were using card scanners in his area.
It's like an Amber's List-esque thing of people buying CT scanners in your area, EP.
Right.
When you think about it too, hospitals are all for the most part, even the ones that say they're nonprofit, they're all for profit. I'm surprised they're not running this scam right out of a hospital to try and make more money on it. I mean, I wouldn't put it beyond any business to do shady shit like this. So could you imagine one of the shadiest businesses, hospitals and insurance companies and things like that, and one of the other shadiest businesses, cards, are like, let's team up. Let's have this like
match made in
Super
heaven.
Friends type of the villains in the lair situation. Jeez.
So my question is, apparently some of the big breakers have them. I'm asking, what are they doing with them? And what are they scanning? If they're breaking product, why are they scanning it? Are they giving it to certain people? This is what I don't understand. Or are they just keeping the good stuff? Okay,
yeah,
they're just keeping that, and they're going to rip it themselves.
Or maybe some of them are using the CT scanner to make sure that all the boxes they break are bangers. So then it looks like they just pull nothing but bangers and nothing but one of ones.
Nobody would ever do that.
No, to grow their number of viewers,
all the other stuff
to go from being a breaker to being a breaker that starting out to being the biggest breaker out there, and then pulling a Trevor Lawrence card. And
I feel like you're accusing somebody.
No,
just for the record, he is not accusing anyone.
I did not make any
allegedly doing the thing.
He really, I mean, ominous EP today. He's like, hey, I hope nothing happens to your CT scanner and your Trevor Lawrence card on the way home.
Sued.
Right.
Wow. Oh, all right. Well, speaking of being sued, somebody who likes to sue people is Jeff Wilson, but this is not anything about being sued. Turns out that the collector, maybe he will sue this person. I don't know. Jeff can do what he wants. He's Jeff Wilson.
Whatever he wants.
He can do whatever he wants. But the collector that pulled the USA Olympic one-of-one non-autograph turned down Jeff Wilson's $25,000 offer and will auction the card off with Golden instead. I know somebody on this panel here thinks the person is really not smart for turning down that money. But so go ahead, EP. Give us your thoughts. I know
somebody's going to hand you $25,000. $25,000 for that card? Like in a year, it's not going to be worth close to that.
Doesn't matter what it's close to in a year.
I'm taking if somebody's handing me $25,000 for that card, I'm taking it right now. I don't like that seems like for just a regular one-of-one card. Like, give me definitely. I'll give me $25,000.
It's not just a regular one, though, is it? If those 3 guys, USA Olympic basketball team, they don't have a card together. Now, no autographs, so not quite as exciting, but I don't know. Maybe you should sell it for $25K. I don't know. I don't know. He was basing the comp off of the 1 out of 5 that sold for $8,000, correct? And so I don't know, maybe $25,000.
The comp doesn't check out in my brain. It sounds like a $40,000 card, then, doesn't it? I mean, if you're going to go by just Like, there's no comp for it, so whatever. Like,
do we know the 8,000 actually sold? The person actually paid for it. Like, there's so many things. Like $25,000 is a lot of freaking money. I don't know how much the person spent on the Topps Now cards to get them. Topps, and it's Topps Now. It's not like it's a pack pulled card either. So I mean, like $25,000 for a Topps Now card seems to me like a Topps Now card that is not an autograph, not the card that is causing
how
all
many cards
the
were
craziness.
sold? How many cards?
500 and some thousand, right? 488, 588, something like that.
Yeah, it's a 101. It's a 101 out of like 500,000 cards. I mean, I think it's worth more than 25,000. I don't think it's worth more than 25,000 in a year. You're completely right, EP, but that doesn't matter. What matters is what it's worth now, and I think what it's worth now is probably going to bear itself out on gold. And I guarantee you, this person is not paying any fees. There's probably no. The only risk they have is losing a bird in the hand, as I think it was last week we talked about a bird in the hand. That being said, I would take the risk, and maybe there's someone who doesn't really quote unquote need the money, and they just rather see where it goes. They'd rather see how high it goes up. And if a 5 of 5 or whatever sold for 8,000, I think the 101's more worth. Using that logic, right? Trying to use that as the comp to base this 101 price. I think it feels like it should be worth more than $25,000 worth,
Worth. Yeah. I think it might actually be helped too by the fact that the auto hasn't been pulled yet.
Right.
So it's the other 101, it's first one up there. And if you want this card, this is your chance. And if you want the autograph card, but you're not even sure it'll come up for sale ever.
Right.
So this one is good. Yeah. I could see a lot of reasoning why I would just let it go. Plus, I don't want to go to Cards HQ anyway. No offense to Jeff. I mean,
I've been there.
It's a card store.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't know that I consider it a destination for somebody who's far away like we are. So, but yeah, I think I would take my chances and let it go.
And plus, what this also means. You're probably going to be on the Golden Touch season 3. I'm just throwing that out there too. So if you're someone who likes that kind of stuff, to be on a Netflix show versus just the Sports Card Investors YouTube page, I guarantee you this person will show up on that show next season. And I believe it's already been renewed. So, that might be something else they want, because you know what? They could say to Ken Golden, hey, I'll let you use this card, but I also want to promote something else. Like, there might be something additional beyond just having it on their auction house and the money aspect of it. Because again, like I said, guaranteed there's no fees involved here. It's just for the publicity for Golden.
If you are being charged fees, you didn't do it right, because
right.
You sell it for free. Yeah. Oh, so I just saw this little tidbit too, that Fanatics Events actually canceled the event, the card show experience thing they had scheduled to be in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. Joe, what did you do?
The campaign worked, people. The campaign worked to keep them out of our fair city.
You think that Michael Rubin doesn't have people watching our podcast, but clearly he does, because they're like, oh, well, we'll show that Joe Day. If he doesn't like us, we're just going to pull our event right out of the stadium there. The official reason given were that they didn't have enough time to build the event that fans deserve.
I'm guessing that is not the real reason.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the real reason is for as much money as they have and make, they're like, that shit cost a lot of money and we can't do this many this close together.
I think the real reasoning is we just recently set the bar way up here and now we're going to very shortly after try to do something down here, and people that are in the same general area of the country don't seem to want to go to this one now for some reason.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, they put so much effort into doing the New York show and spent so much money. Like, whether or not Fanatics didn't make any money off that. That was probably a marketing investment for them. But I think the problem is they they screwed doing a smaller show because like New York City and Pittsburgh, what are they? 5 hours difference, maybe, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
So
and like an hour flight, if that.
Yeah.
Like
so I feel like you went all out for that, and now you're like, oh crap, what do we do for this that make people want to go, and they weren't able to find a way to make people want to go.
And I completely agree with the location situation. Like, okay, Pittsburgh, few hours away. Do it in Florida. Do it in Los Angeles. Do it in
Las Vegas. Yep.
Do it do it someplace like that. That made more sense. Like having it New York, then Pittsburgh months later just seemed weird from the jump.
I wonder if part of what they thought is that they can take a lot of the assets that they had there and just move all of them to Pittsburgh maybe a little bit easier than trying to fly them across the country.
A couple of trucks, a couple of Mayflower trucks.
Well, they had always planned on doing different levels of these because there is one coming up in October, I believe in November, that's supposed to be more of a card show. So they had different levels they planned on these, but I think they're seeing now that when you run the big one, that it might be difficult to run the smaller one. So this might be something that looked good on paper that somebody was thinking, okay, yeah, we'll do the big one here. And then we'll do this because they were planning on doing some in ballparks. This was going to be in the Pittsburgh PNC Park. That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And, they were going to do that. Sounds fun on paper, but when you had a huge fan fest and it's not going to be that.
And when were they going to do it? When was
it was supposed to be the end of this month. So
yeah, and weather's not. That's another thing. If you're not doing a ballpark, it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's very unpredictable. So like if you wanted to do it, like if they want to do it a month ago, sure, great, whatever. But like Pittsburgh outdoors, it's either 9,000 degrees or it's really rainy. I don't think I would have risked it. Could you imagine being a card dealer and like outside shows sound like a terrible choice anyway.
Yeah.
And I assume I get why they want to do in PNC. It's EP, probably this better than I. It's consistently rated one of the best ballparks across the country. So I kind of get why they would want to go to PNC and do it there. But go to San Diego. I mean, there's beautiful weather out west. I don't get doing it here. It just doesn't make sense. Not at that point anyway.
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Like you said, Joe, just put it out west, put it out in Florida, 100%.
Texas.
It'll be interesting to see if they do, if they do the smaller stuff that they had planned, or maybe they
rename it,
bigger one, maybe 2 or 3 different places instead of doing that just once a year. I mean, it'll be interesting to watch, but yeah, pretty sure it's just because they went all in and then they're like, we don't know where to go from here.
We need to spend the money on Disney. We need to spend the money on Disney. We can't.
That's what it was. Yeah. It's like, whoa.
Looked in his wallet like, oh crap, I don't have anything.
And that's why they sold stock, right? Now it
makes sense.
The pieces are kind of coming together. Why he wanted to sell? What was it? $1 billion worth of stock? I'll tell you how much the Disney deal cost. About $1 billion. Poor Michael Rubin.
Have one other little thing, just another public service announcement. I saw this. If you're looking to buy Score Football, just be aware that Caleb Williams is not in Score Football. So if somebody's doing breaks and they're selling the spots of the Bears, make sure you know that Caleb Williams isn't in that. Just a little something
like not even a base card.
Yeah, right. He's not in at all because he didn't sign early enough to be able to be included in the product. So he's not there. And, Panini doesn't like to make people aware of stuff like this. They're not going to tell you, oh, yeah, the number 1 pick isn't in here. Yeah, and they're not going to either. So good ones would, but I'm going to guess there are a lot of them out there, especially on Whatnot and stuff, that will never let you know that. So if you're interested in buying some or getting into breaks, just know you're not getting Caleb Williams because he does not exist in the set. One other thing, Joe, how they do the CGC signature series for comic books.
Yep.
they are doing their first card release. And this was something I think we talked about too when they got the JSA deal. I wonder if they would start doing some card signings, and they are. They're doing a CGC signature series with Pete Rose, and the card is Celebrity Mint. These are pure silver and gold coins that are shaped like cards, and they are signed and slabbed. They're making 1,000 silver, 500 gold, and 150 Cosmos Mint. I guess it's a insert or parallel. They will be $75 a pack for silver and $150 a pack for the gold. I guess they're legal tender too somehow. I don't know.
Well, if they're solid gold and silver, I mean,
So that is their first release, not on a regular card, but it's Highland Mint 2.0, right?
That beat me to it. That's exactly what this is. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a Highland Mint thing. It's definitely you would see this on QVC thing.
I was going to say that. That's what I was going to say. Like, this is something, it's 100% like something you're going to see a commercial on TV for.
Right.
Yep.
There you go. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Baby. It's going to look like this, but it's going to be Pete Rose.
And it's going to be autographed, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, to your point about it being legal tender, I mean, technically stamps are legal tender too. You just have to find someone that will accept that legal tend. So if you walk in with a Pete Rose card to Wise's or Giant down there in Central PA, I don't think the cashier's going to, this poor 17-year-old kid cashier's be like, I have no idea what to do with this.
What are you doing?
Scan? They wouldn't know if you handed them a $20
They'd be
bill
like
either,
tapping
to be honest.
the card.
Right. But
So
yeah, I mean, it's a cool that they're branching out to do something. I don't know if this is the thing they should be doing, but it's cool that they're actually thinking of different ways to get some stuff out there.
I think Pete Rose signs a lot, right? Isn't he somebody who is known for signing everything?
Ironically, Joe Montana. There's like a handful of guys who sign everything.
So if you're going to do something like this, you have to also put it on a card that is made of gold or silver to make it actually worth anything. I wonder what the prices are going to be. It's going to be outrageously priced, probably, right? Is there any?
It's $75 for a pack of the silver. You get one of the signed slab ones and like a parallel card or an insert card of some sort, and 150 for the gold per pack. So yeah, this is kind of cool. Hopefully they'll branch out into more normal stuff that is a little different, but I like the idea. I think there are a lot of people out there, a lot of people that can't go to shows, or people like us that when we went to the National, like I didn't want to stand in that line to get an autograph. So I think that's part of the hobby that's really kind of underserved. I know you can send out to private signings and stuff, but here's a company who can bring somebody in, slab and authenticate the autograph right there, put in a nice presentation with the nice label. I think this is a area of the market that could really grow, and that'll give people who want to get Joe Montana's autograph or Dan Marino's autograph a way to be able to do that where they know it's real. It's always going to be there, and you don't have to send a card to somebody. You don't know. Like if you don't see it happening, you don't know if it's real. And right here, they're taking it, they're slabbing it, and they're sending it to you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, even with like PSA, if they authenticate something that's been autographed, right? Like I don't 100% feel confident in buying something like that personally. Like I always assume the worst, right? That's just how I am. By the way, EP laughs. I've been proven right like 99% of the time since we've been doing this podcast by saying the worst thing is going to happen, because it generally does. And I generally feel that way about autographs. I just assume the worst. And to have JSA, which is an amazing company, right? That probably higher than PSA in terms of, we know this is authentic. Like this is JSA certified. Yes. Yeah. And then to have CGC, who loves to watch people autograph stuff to verify that they're actually doing it. And for the longest time wouldn't authenticate comic books that had autographs unless they physically saw them autograph it. To have that like almost like a double like measure to make sure something's authentic. This is not for me, this Pete Rose thing specifically, but to your point, when they have something like a Todd McFarlane card distribution or Dan Marino signing autographs for him or something like that, I would feel way more confident about it than I would just buying something on eBay that's PSA authenticated.
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much pair it with just what you guys both said. I mean, with great points by both of you guys. I hope this works out for them. This Pete Rose this isn't for me as well. But to your point, Mike, I really hope it does work out for them, because then they can do more. They can do more with more signers and that sort of stuff, and that'll allow a broader base of available cards.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a pretty good place to wrap it up. I will just leave you with the knowledge that all three of the Topps Chrome Basketball Victor Wembanyama Superfractors were pulled in China this year. So there's your fun fact of the week. And
I might talk about some China breakers on Wednesday's show, as a matter of fact.
Mike, I'm not sure you know what the word fun means, like the definition of the word fun. I don't think.
There's your sad fact.
There you go. All right. That was a good chat this week, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
See you, boys.
Adios.